Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to this video. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful peplum styled top. I've named it the Candy Shop Peplum Top because these beautiful colors remind me of sweeties. It is fairly easy to do and very beginner friendly, and I would also recommend it for people who perhaps have never tried crocheting a clothing item. So basically it consists of two panels, this front panel and the back panel that have been joined on the sides, as well as the shoulders to create the neckline. And then I began on this ruffle part. Practically the whole top is made up of shell stitches, except a few rows in the middle here. As you can see, I've got some trebles here just to help with the transitioning into the ruffles. Please support my channel by smashing the subscribe button as well as liking this video. Thank you very much. Okay then guys, just a couple of things before we get started with the actual tutorial. So the yarn I'm using is this one. It's called Angora Granite Sim, and it is by Nako, and it's made in Turkey. It is 5% metallic, 15% mohair and 80% acrylic, and it's absolutely soft and squishy. As you can see, it's a variegated yarn with all these beautiful colors. Feel free to use a one-colored yarn for this project if you choose to do so. It is a finer yarn, and I think it's about a 1-ply or maybe a 2-ply, although it's not indicated on the packaging. The recommended crochet hook size for this yarn is a 2mm, but I will be using a 4.5mm crochet hook. I always tend to go up a hook size or two, especially with my clothing projects, because I feel the final garment drapes much better as the stitches are not that tight, and furthermore it works up really quick. So each ball consists of 100 grams, and I anticipate using under 3 balls for this project. So to get started, we need to do a foundation chain, which should be a multiple of 4 plus 2 extra chains. The best way to determine the amount of chains you will need is to measure your bust, divide that by 2 and do the corresponding number of chains. I recommend doing 5 to 10 chains less than your actual measurement, as crochet garments usually stretch. So to begin with, we are going to make 2 identical panels that look like this. So these are for the front top half and the back top half of this top. So I'm just going to measure the width of this piece so you have an indication of the size. So it measures approximately 21 inches when laid flat. I did a foundation chain of 92 plus 2 extra chains. So the length of this panel is approximately 13 inches, and it falls just under my bust. You can add more rows according to your preference, as you might want the ruffles to begin lower down, but I prefer my ruffles beginning just under my bust. So I have already made my one piece, and I'm going to do my second identical piece now with you. I'm going to begin with 92 chains, and you should do the appropriate number of chains for your size, just in case you're not making the same size as me. Remember, it should be in a multiple of 4, and then you should add 2 extra chains at the end. So we'll put this away and begin our tutorial. So to begin with, we are going to do a slip knot and then our chains. So that's our slip knot. I am going to do 92 chains plus 2, giving me a total of 94 chains. 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to continue doing my 94 chains, and then I will meet you when I finish. Okay, I've just completed my chains. That's 92 chains plus the 2 extra chains, giving me a total of 94 chains. So now we're going to begin row 1, and we are simply going to do a single crochet in each chain across. Okay, so a single crochet all the way across. Okay, so this is quite a basic stitch, so I will leave you to do it, and I will meet you when you get to the end. Okay, so I'm just approaching the last few chains, and I'm going to do a single crochet in each of them to complete the row. Okay, so that's row 1 done with our single crochets. So now row 2, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. You're going to skip the next chain, and in the next chain after that we are going to do 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 2 chains, 1, 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the same stitch. Okay, so in essence that is your first shell stitch. Then we are going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and we are going to repeat the shell stitch again. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and another 2 double crochets. Okay, and that's your second shell stitch done. Once again, you're going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the fourth one we are going to do another shell stitch. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that once more. So skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the fourth chain we are going to do 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and then 2 double crochets. Okay, so I want you to continue doing this till the end of the single crochet row that we did previously. In essence, you should have 2 chains left at the end. So when you have about 2 chains left, you can stop doing your shell stitches and I will show you what to do. Okay, so just continue doing your shell stitches all the way across. That's 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, leave 3 spaces, 3 chains, and then all in the same stitch again, your double crochets, your chains, and your double crochets again. Okay, so I will meet you when you are near the end. Okay then guys, I'm just approaching the end of row 2. I've done all my shell stitches and I have 1 more shell stitch to do. So we have to skip 3 chains, and I like to turn my work. I find it's easier to see the chains that way. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one we're going to do a final shell stitch. That is 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. So you should have 2 chains left. So you skip 1 chain, and in the last one we are going to do a double crochet. It's a bit tricky getting into the last one, but there it is. Okay, so in case you don't have 2 spaces left, you might have 3, or you might just have that last one. Don't panic too much, just do a double crochet at the end. Okay guys, so now we are going to start row 3. So we are going to do 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. So now we are going to do a shell stitch in the middle of our previous shell. So where we have the 2 chains, there is where we're going to do a shell stitch. So that's 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so we are just going to continue this way throughout. So next shell in the 2 chain space from the previous row, 1, 2 or 2 chains, and our 2 double crochets. Okay, once again in the middle, 1, 2, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple more because this is in white, so it might not be that clear, so I'll just continue till the yarn changes color so you can see better. So 1, 2, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, and I'm going to do 1 more because I think by now you know the score. 1, 2, that's our 2 double crochets, our 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Okay, so just work your way across till you get to the end, and I will show you what to do when you are at the end. Okay, so now I'm approaching the end of row 3. So I've got 1 more shell stitch to do. So 1, 2 double crochets, your 2 chains in the middle, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so that completes all my shells, and now what we're going to do is 1 double crochet in this little gap here. So every time you end, you will do a double crochet in the gap at the end. Okay, so that completes row 3. Okay, so now basically it's just a repetition of row 3. So to begin with, we're going to do 1, 2, 3 chains, a turn our work, and we are going to do a shell in the 2 chains from the previous round. 1, 2. Okay, and just continue doing your shells till the end of the row, and remember in this last gap here we are going to do a double crochet. So continue this way and build up your rows until you get your desired length. So from here it's just a matter of repeating row 3. Just remember that we always start with a chain in the beginning, 3 chains, and at the end we should do a double crochet, and in between it's a shell stitch, which is 2 double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. So just in case you're making the exact size as me, my piece has 27 rows going up. So once you finish this piece, you should then make one more identical piece. So you will have 2 identical pieces, same size. So I will meet you back when you have your 2 identical pieces, and we can then proceed with the next fun part of this tutorial. So see you in a bit. Okay guys, I've just finished my 2 pieces. So that's one and that's the other, and they are exactly identical. Okay, so what we're going to do now is attach them. So we are going to attach the sides, leaving space for the armhole. So this side as well, leave space for the armhole, and we are going to attach the shoulder part and leave some space for the neck. Okay, just remember that the foundation chains will be on the top, forming the neckline. So the foundation chains will be the top of this top. Okay, so there is no wrong side or right side as such, so it doesn't really matter how you place them. So to attach our sides, what we're going to do is single crochets in these 3 chain spaces that we have on the side. If you can see them here, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. There. So 3 single crochets in each of these spaces, and I will show you how to do that in a bit. Okay, so I'm going to begin in the corner, and I'm going to do a slip knot to attach these 2 pieces together. Okay, just make sure that both your pieces are lined together and your chains are corresponding. Okay, so that's my slip knot done, and I'm going to do 2 more single crochets in here. Okay, and in the next 3 chain spaces we're going to do 3 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets again in the next spaces. Okay, and again and you're just going to continue this way. Okay, so I'm going to do my single crochets for approximately 12 rows and leave space for the armhole. Okay, so what you can do is crochet along and then just leave a strand so you can make any adjustments later. Okay, so I've done my single crochets, and what I'm going to do now is leave a long strand of yarn in case I need to make some adjustments to the armhole later. So I'm just going to give that a crop. Okay, so I've got that yarn just in case I need to add more stitches. I will try the top on later and make any adjustments with this yarn. Okay, so you need to do the same thing on this side as well. Okay, and then we will do the neckline. Okay, so just finish this side as well and we will carry on. Okay, just before I do the next side, I just wanted to remind you that this is the wrong side of your garment now, as the stitches are visible. If you turn it inside out, you can actually see that it's quite a seamless stitch. You can hardly see anything. So the right side will be this side. So in essence, you would have to turn your piece inside out. Okay, now let me work on this side and I will meet you soon so we can do the neckline together. So for the neckline, we are going to work in the foundation chains and keep on working till your required neck size. You can always leave a strand so you can do your adjustments later. Okay, so to start off with, we will do a slip knot and attach these two pieces together. Okay, and then just work in the corresponding chains, and you can work over this piece, this tail as well. Okay, so just remember, leave a long strand so you can do any adjustments later. I think that's a great tip I've given you. Just leave your strands so when you finally try your garment, you can add some more stitches or you can decrease your stitches as well. Okay, so that's the top done. Now we're going to work on the bottom ruffle. The exciting part begins. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so now that we've attached our two pieces together, we are going to turn it inside out. This is the correct side. Okay, and we are going to do single crochets in this last shell stitch row. Okay, so take your yarn and attach it in any two chain space. Okay, like that. And then in every chain we're going to do a single crochet. Let me try and get the tail in as well. Okay, in this two chain space, ideally you should do 2 chains, but because I want it a little nipped and I want it to go inside a bit, I'm just going to do 1. But feel free to do 2 if you want, but I'm just going to do 1 in the 2 chain space. Doing 2 will just give you a looser fit, and I just prefer it to be a bit nipped there, so it gives this sort of skater effect. Okay, so just continue doing your single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you when we get back here to the beginning. Okay, so I'm just approaching the end of this round, so I'm going to do my last few single crochets, and then I'm going to go into my first single crochet that I did, and do a slip stitch. Okay, that completes our round. So for this round we are going to do trebles. We're going to do a treble, a chain, a treble, and we're going to skip 1. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our treble. That acts as a treble and a chain. Okay, so we're going to skip 1, and in the next one we're going to do a treble. So that's yarn over hook 2 times. Going to 2, going to the 2, and going to 2. And then do a chain. So yarn over hook 2 times, skip 1 and go into the next one. Okay, pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2, chain 1. Again, skip 1 and into the next one. Two, 2, 2. Okay, chain 1, skip 1 and into the next one, do a treble. Okay, so just work your way all the way around, and I will meet you when you nearly at the end. Okay, so when we've worked our circle, and when you are around here, I will meet you. Okay, so I've just finished my last treble. I'm going to do the chain, and then I am going to attach it to the 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, and do a slip knot. Oops. Try that again. Okay, so that completes our next round. Okay, so now for this round we are going to do double crochets all the way around. So we start off with 3 chains to act as our first double crochet, and then in between a double crochet, and in the chain from the treble from the previous round, you're going to do another double crochet. So it's just a double crochet through and through. One in the space and one in the treble. One in the space and one in the treble, and just continue all the way around, and I'll meet you once you're back round here. Okay then guys, I'm just approaching the last couple of double crochets for this round. and then we are going to join by attaching the yarn to the third, 1, 2, 3, the third chain of the 3 chains, of the beginning 3 chains. Okay, so that completes that round. Okay, so now we are going to begin doing our ruffles. So this is going to be the base stitch. This next round is going to be the base for our ruffles. So what we're going to do is 1, 2, 3 chains, and in the next stitch here, in the next chain, we are going to do 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in the next chain we are going to do 1 double crochet, and in the next we are going to do 4, 2, 3, 4. Oops, made a mistake there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 in the next, 4 in the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in the next, and 4 in the next, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just continue this way all along until you reach the beginning of this round. Okay, so 4 in one stitch and 1 in the next stitch, 4 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 4 double crochets, 1 double crochet, and I will meet you when we get to the end here. You can actually see the ruffles beginning to form. Okay, so I'm just finishing this round and I'm going to do 4 more double crochets in this last chain. 1, 2, 3, oops, and 4, and we are going to attach it to the top of these 3 chains, the top chain there. Okay, and that completes our round. The ruffles look so gorgeous, and don't worry if they are sort of twisting around. As we build our rows, it will just level everything out. Okay, so now we are going to start our next row, and basically it's going to be the shell stitch again. Okay, so we are going to skip this first stitch here, and in the next one we are going to do 2 double crochets, 1, 2, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, and then remember, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one, your next shell, that's 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, once again, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th one, your next shell, two chains, and 2 double crochets. So we're just going to continue with shells all around. Okay then guys, so I'm just approaching the end of my shell row stitch, and I'm going to do my last shell. So I am going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the fourth one I am going to do my last shell of the round. So that's 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. Okay, so you should have 1 more chain left, and in that you should do a double crochet. Okay, if you don't have the 1 chain and you have 2 chains, don't worry about that too much. Just skip 1 chain and in the next one do a double crochet. So from now on we are not going to join, we are just going to go into the next shell stitch and do our shell. So no joining from now on. Okay, if you want, you can actually put a stitch marker on the beginning shell just to make it easier for you when you come back round again. It's not absolutely necessary though, but it just makes it easier to recognize the beginning shell. Okay. Okay, so I'm just approaching the last shell stitch of this row. So I just wanted to remind you that once we finish the last shell stitch, there is no need to join. You would just then jump onto the next shell stitch here and continue, okay? And then you can just move your shell stitch to the beginning shell of the next row. So I'll just do that with you. So this is the last shell. One, two chains and 2 double crochets. Okay, so then we just jump onto the next one, next shell, and do our shell stitch in there. Okay, and you can move your stitch marker there, okay? And then just continue building your rounds like that, just going round and round. Okay, so I will meet you when you finish your rows and we will proceed from there. Shirkan! My little boys decided to join me while crocheting. Shirkan, look. Hi. Okay, so I've just finished my top and I'm really happy with it. Loved how it turned out. So I adjusted the neckline and the sides as well. And what I did on the armholes is just a simple row of single crochets. The ruffles sort of dominate this whole top, so I didn't want to be OTT, so I just thought I'd be quite simple at the top and then do the ruffles at the bottom. So I love how they turned out as well. They look so pretty. Can't wear it, I can't wait to wear it later on today. So actually I did about 8 rows of shell stitches going down, and that gave me a good length. Okay, so you could just continue doing as many rows as you wanted to till you get your desired length, but for me about 8 rows was perfect. It just about covers my belly.